My men from Li Xuanga's contingent climbed through the window, quickly subduing Yang Heng and her people. You had me watched? She held her belly, retreating into a corner, knocking over a vase. Believe it or not, I had you watched to protect you. I picked up the fallen sword. So all my kindness was wasted, because all you need is him. You befriended me only as long as he loved you, and I didn't threaten that. This is what you call love? Yang Heng went pale. She scrambled to flee, dodging my blade. Ming Wang Q. Stop pretending. If you truly cared, you'd stay away from Chui Song. Her voice grew shrill. No wonder your sisters shun you. No wonder Li Xuanga abandoned you. The candle flickered, the blade flashed. I hate it when people speak of my sisters. Yang Heng flung herself aside to avoid the blow, crumpling against the wall, eyes shut, trembling. If you kill me, he'll never forgive you. What spell has he cast on you? She clutched her belly, sweating, breathing hard, tears in her eyes. What do you know? Chui Song and I are family. Even if my father and I die, everything I have goes to him and our child, never to him and another woman. One day, when you marry, you'll understand. I gripped the hilt, breathing hard. I stared at her, then slowly released the sword. I won't kill you. She had made me understand. A father matters less than a husband less than a child. I understood. I had my men lead Chui Song here. I placed the blade on my palm and closed my eyes, slicing it. Hiss, that hurts. Yang Heng tensed. What are you doing? I looked up and smiled. Aheng, do you think I'm moved by your words? I lowered my head, squeezing my fist. I came to kill you, you'd die too easily. But a fitting end, how's that? Blood dripped to the floor. Chui Song burst in, I spun and fled, colliding with him. Prime Minister, Aheng tried to kill me for the lock. I clutched his arm. She knows you gave Duke Xing's whereabouts to the Crown Prince. Chui Song looked down at Yang Heng. Aheng, Duke Xing was ambushed. Did you know? His fate is unknown. She met his gaze for a long time, reaching up toward him. Zixing. Her voice broke. I asked innocently, Zixing? Chui Song glanced at me, his gaze flat. It's my courtesy name. I stole a look at Yang Heng. She closed her eyes, leaned back against the wall, and let out a long breath. My father isn't dead yet. You do what you will. I tugged his sleeve. Prime Minister, if Duke Xing finds out what we've done to his daughter, we're both dead. He frowned, stepped back, and looked at the men in the room. Whose people are these? Li Xuanga's, his parting gift. I sighed. Why not leave her here and run away with me? The others exchanged glances. Chui Song looked at me, expressionless, then pushed my hand away. He took the lamp, walked into the inner room, and splashed oil on the bed curtains. Flames rose. I was stunned. Let Duke Xing blame the Crown Prince for this. He grabbed me and pulled me out. Yang Heng, screaming in pain, clawed at the walls, struggling to stand, again and again. Chui Song! Are you mad? This is your child. Your child. She wept and cursed, voice breaking. Have you forgotten? You met me once, and came to propose the next day. I looked back. Prime Minister, Aheng deserves better than to die in such pain. I pressed the sword into his hand. He stopped, took a deep breath. You're right. He turned back, sword in hand, to end her swiftly. Ahung, don't be afraid. She bit her lip, staring at him with hatred. Chui Song, I'll wait for you in the underworld. I watched his back, binding my bleeding hand, and picked up the fallen sword. At last, the moment came. Chui Song moved. But the blade stopped midair. He looked down in shock. A blade had pierced his chest from behind, not yet stained with blood. I withdrew the sword in one motion. He crumpled at my feet, staring at me. It was you. His neck strained upward, blood gushing from his mouth. You. You fooled me, I trusted you. I crouched to look at him. Prime Minister, don't speak. I've endured you far too long. Thinking of my fourth sister, and not wanting any more missteps, I cut his throat as well. I half-crouched and turned to Yang-hung. No need to wait for him in the underworld, I've sent him to you. Now you have two choices. 1. If you say you'll avenge him, I'll send you down to join him. 2. If you thank me for saving your life, I'll take you from here. She braced herself on the ground, staring at me with tear-filled eyes. She closed her eyes, and 2 tears slid down. Wing-Q, forgive me, I can't go on. The blood beneath her had soaked her dress up to her waist. I hurried to help her, looking around the burning room for somewhere to lay her. She grasped my hand instead, speaking slowly. You've given me this gift, so I'll give you one in return. I'm writing my father a final letter, asking him to take you as his adopted daughter. The Duke's house will protect you. The courtyard blazed, she wrote with her last strength, handing me the letter, slipping off the amber bangle. Just as I had first seen her. Wear this. Take it to the calligraphy shop I frequent, give the letter to the owner. I held the letter, my eyes misty. I'll have you carried out. She gripped my hand, looking down at her belly, her eyes pleading. Wing-Q, help me. The emperor died, and the realm was told. The imperial uncle led the imperial clan to perform the mourning rites, but the crown prince blocked them with the imperial guard and confined them at Jianshur Hall. Overnight, hooves thundered in the streets. The mansions of high officials were surrounded by the imperial guard. Meanwhile, I had purchased a secluded courtyard behind Baiyun Temple, and for 3 days I had been feeding gruel to the poor. The night I fled the Chui residence, Chui Song and Yang He were claimed by fire. Zhao Che arrived too late and burned the entire mansion, accusing me of murdering the CUIS, arson, and flight. But with Yang Heng's final letter, I had secretly contacted Duke Xing. Duke Xing Yang Shao proclaimed Ming Wingqiu his adopted daughter. I knew that with Chui Song dead, the crown prince would be desperate to secure his succession. But the imperial guard could only be mobilized with the tally, which was in the imperial uncle's hands. When had Zhao Che stolen it back? I thought of one person. The one who gave me headaches. My men urged me to flee to Li Xuanda. Madam, while the crown prince is entangled in the palace, we can slip out of the capital and head north. I looked at him sidelong. That night, I gathered everyone in the courtyard, set out tables, and laid out long sheets of paper. All of you have shared life and death with me, you are my saviors. But I am not going north. The capital is dangerous. If any of you wish to seek Li Xuanga, you may leave freely, I will write to him and absolve you of blame. They exchanged glances. After a stick of incense's deliberation, nearly a third left. I ground ink by moonlight, my voice steady. The rest of you, now that Chui Song is dead, if the Li family takes the throne, I am a palace consort. If the Yang family takes it, I am an adopted princess. If the crown prince or the imperial uncle takes it, I am a brother-in-law's sister. I raised my head, meeting each of their eyes. Those who wish to follow Ming Wingqiu, no more madam from this day, but master. Those who wish to carve their place in this age of chaos, write your name, native place, and family here. As long as I live, I will reward the living and honor the dead. Soon, the first man stepped forward and wrote his name. Others followed, the line swelled. In the corner, 4 or 5 men hesitated. I brought out a purse of silver. Here is some money. Take it, go down the mountain. If you don't wish to go north, nor to follow me, you must miss your families. Go home. Family was no less than ambition. They thanked me profusely and left. But one man lingered. I want the money, and I also want to write my name. Can I do both? I studied him. Rough clothes, ordinary face, steady voice. I remembered him, he was the one who kicked the sword away when Yang Heng tried to stab me. What is your name? Li Mu. His mother was ill, he was a filial son, wanting to see her, but had no money for medicine. If I would pay him, he would stay. That's not fair, I said, pointing at the others. If I give you money, they'll resent it. He agreed and turned to leave. I called him back. Unless you do a task for me. Do it well, and you'll be rewarded. 3 days later, Li Mu brought a hay cart to my gate. I parted the hay, and found Ming Wangchun, dressed in rags, hair loose, red-eyed, staring at me. Wing Q, it is you. I picked a few straws from her hair. Princess consort, I know it was you. You stole the Imperial Guard tally and gave it to Zhao Che. No wonder the Crown Prince had spared me for the sake of my sisters. She had done something foolish. He traded me Wen Xiao's life for it. I had no choice. Ming Wangchun got out and moved the hay aside. Ming Wenxia sat there, knees drawn up, expression blank, eyes unfocused. Wangchun said, that day at the feast, I hadn't seen her for months. When Zhao Che let me see her, this was her state. I felt her pulse, her body was sound. She had lost her voice. It must have been from those months in spring, Zhao Che had taken her to see hundreds. Divining too often turns back on the diviner. Rest, and she will recover. I know, but Zhao Che starved her, demanding the tally in exchange. I had no choice but to betray Zhao Mingqing. Together we helped Wenxia into the courtyard. That night, I received Duke Xing's reply, I will arrive at the capital within 10 days. I sat in the yard, rocking a cradle gently, tapping the infant's cheek. Your grandfather is coming to fetch you. Happy? Ming Wangchun appeared at the gate. She was planning to go to the palace to rescue the imperial uncle. I barely got you out of the residence, and you want to go back and die? With armies closing in from all sides, you'd be better off going to Yanling, to the imperial uncle's fief, and raising troops. As his consort, you could command some. She hesitated. Zhao Mingqing told me not to act rashly before he left. I laughed dryly. He didn't know you'd already stolen the tally. She fell silent. You killed the CUIS, what right do you have to lecture me? Then she saw the cradle and hurried over. Is this yours? I have a nephew. I stared at her. She took the baby in her arms, her face soft with tenderness. He looks like Chui Song, not much like you. I said nothing. She cradled the child, thinking. I'll go to Yanling. If anything happens to him, I'll break him out. I rose at once. I'll send men to escort you. She looked at me in surprise. Wing Q, you've become so much warmer since becoming a mother. I paused, looking at her and the child. After Yang Hang, I had learned, sometimes women have their own logic. You can't argue with them. Big sister, I have a favor to ask. I took the child from her and lowered my voice. Actually, this is Li Xuanda's child. I didn't mean to kill Chui Song, he found out and tried to kill the baby. He ran onto my sword by accident. In the chaos, he set the fire, Yang Heng died from that. Wang Chuan's eyes widened. I knelt, holding the child. I beg you, take this child to Yanling, raise him in secret. When the realm is at peace, I'll come for him. Ming Wangchun set out for Yanling. I had sent all but Li Mu to escort her. What about you? She asked from the carriage. I touched the infant's cheek. Don't worry about me, sister, just protect him. If he dies, I will not live. She was deeply moved and swore to it. Sister, have you named him? Ming Zhao. Ming Zhao, my hope, tied to him. After she left, I placed my second sister in the temple, locked the courtyard, and walked to the palace gate. I want to see Zhao Che. Zhao Che was frantic. Duke Xing's 30,000 troops were approaching from the east. Li Xuanda's 50,000 vanguard were crossing the Yangtze from the north. Within the capital, with Chui Song dead, the officials were silent. But inside the palace, the imperial uncle and the clan had been detained for days, they still would not support the crown prince. Zhao Mingqing insisted on seeing the late emperor's body. Zhao Che summoned me. Ming Wingqiu, I was looking for you. You've walked right in. I met his eyes. I promised you in the dark chamber, Your Highness, if you succeed, I will follow. He descended slowly, his voice mocking. Is that so? Well then, since you're Duke Xing's adopted daughter and Li Xuanda's beloved, you'll make a fine hostage. I raised an eyebrow, a bitter smile tugging at my lips. Your Highness, have you ever seen a hostage on the city walls actually work? Even if I were Duke Xing's real daughter or Li Xuanda's own mother, throwing me off the wall won't stir even a speck of dust. It would only embolden the enemy. Zhao Che's expression darkened. Then what use are you? I stepped closer and said seriously, I can persuade the imperial uncle to support you. You would help me? He was wary. I smiled. I've never harmed you, have I, Your Highness? I was there to see Zhao Mingqing. He was in the prison, not Jianshi Hall like the rest. He barely glanced at me. Unless I see the late emperor's remains, I will never support Zhao Che's succession. I dismissed everyone and sat across from him. Brother-in-law, you just want to know if the crown prince killed the emperor. I'll tell you, he did. Zhao Mingqing's fist slammed against the prison wall. Then don't waste words persuading me. I nodded, still seated. I'm not persuading you for him. I'm persuading you for me. He stared. You? He looked me up and down. What makes you fit? I continued, not waiting for him. Brother-in-law, keep fighting Zhao Che, and the empire will belong to the Yangs or the Lis. If you won't pick him, pick me. I have Duke Xing's support. He cut me off angrily. Enough, preposterous. Even without Zhao Che, there are other clan members. As for Duke Xing, an adopted daughter means nothing. Leave. I knew it would be like this. I'm not good at persuading people directly. Let me tell you what happens if you don't choose me. You'll wait, force Zhao Che to name an heir before you support him. You're hoping he'll have no choice and beg you. He looked at me calmly. I looked back at him and sighed, shaking my head. But you won't get that chance. The moment I walk out of here, Zhao Che will learn of the Yanling troops moving. Your fief, your men, marching under your banner, towards the capital. Tell me, if you were Zhao Che, would you believe he didn't order it? His brow furrowed. Without my seal, how can the Yanling army move? Ignoring his question, I continued calmly. You're in prison, you don't know. Duke Shen will arrive in days. Li Xuanga in a month. The Yanling troops left late. By the time they arrive, a new emperor will have long been crowned. A wasted journey, and a wasted life. He realized it. It's Ming Wangchun. That woman, again and again, how did you talk her into it? I said it would save you. I smiled. I wasn't lying. It will save you now. He was speechless for a moment, then said coldly, even if I agreed, who else would? You're not a Zhao, and you're a woman. An empress? Who says I'm not a Zhao? I pulled out Consort Shui's jade lock. Do I look like the lost princess? He reached for it, I pulled it back. Duke Shen gave me the idea. The Zhao identity is mine now. I ran my fingers over the lock. Brother-in-law, those who witnessed the princess's water burial, the late emperor, the late empress, consort Chui Song, are all dead. Only you and Duke Shen remain. I looked up. Brother-in-law, I'm a widow now, no husband, no child. I ask only for one lifetime as emperor. You ask only that the Zhao clan not lose the throne. So, during my reign, I'll leave a decree naming a clan heir from your choosing. After my death, the throne returns to Zhao. He held my gaze, a flicker of interest in his eyes. Ming Wenqiu, even if I agree, will Duke Shen put you on the throne? Will Zhao Che believe our tale? If even one person objects, everything you've said today is a joke. I put the lock away carefully and smiled at him. Brother-in-law, I've said enough. On the day of succession, peace may not hold. You need only stand in the hall, declare me the lost princess, and support me as emperor. Leave the rest to me. Even if I fail, if you do as I say, I'll call off Yanling. I left the prison and told the crown prince that Zhao Mingqing had been persuaded. He was overjoyed and rushed to prepare for the succession ceremony before Duke Shen arrived. As I left the palace, I saw my fourth sister. Third sister, long time no see. Ming Jidong stood under the corridor in a dark purple cloak, playing with a round fan, wearing an extravagant gold phoenix hairpin, the tail feathers quivering. She had grown pale and refined in her year at court. But it was only the 10th month, she was bundled warmly, and seemed ever more sensitive to cold. I looked up at the hairpin. That belonged to the late empress. Pretty, isn't it, sister? Very becoming. I took note of it. It would be handy. On the day of succession, the sky was gray. The Imperial uncle and the clan entered the hall. The officials stood outside. Zhao Che knelt 3 times and kowtowed 9 times before the coffin. According to procedure, a high minister would next read the edict. But the late emperor had died with only Zhao Che and my fourth sister present, so the edict's authenticity was unknown. Just as the reading reached Crown Prince Zhao Che, Zhao Mingqing frowned, hesitating, then someone else stepped forward. My fourth sister, in white mourning, rushed from behind and threw herself over the coffin, wailing in anguish. The reading stopped. Everyone stared. Even Zhao Che was frozen. For a long while, attendants tried to pull her away. She sobbed, barely standing, and flung them off, pointing at Zhao Che and cursing. You want to be emperor? Ha! You poisoned his majesty. You killed the late emperor. She clung to the coffin and pointed at him, then fell to her knees. Imperial uncle. Clan elders. This traitor, this unfilial son, do you let him ascend? Silence. No one dared breathe. Zhao Chei's face reddened as he stepped forward, fists clenched. You've gone mad. What poison? I did nothing. She sat on the floor, leaning against the coffin. Then, allow an autopsy. He looked down at her, murder in his eyes, and hissed, mad, truly mad. Who put you up to this? He turned to the assembly, his voice rising. After the feast that night, everyone in the front row was searched and recorded. Did anyone mention poison? The emperor's body must not be desecrated. If there is doubt, let us first hold the funeral, then summon the records and investigate. No one dared answer. Jidong rose slowly, clinging to the coffin, and shouted, Who dares? She swept her gaze across the hall, raised her chin, and laid a hand on her belly with a faint smirk. I carry the late emperor's child. Who dares touch me? She looked at Zhao Chei with cold triumph. Who dares? Zhao Chei stared at her belly, breath heaving in disbelief. Posthumous son. The parrot's cry. It had come. Jidong stepped to the coffin and raised her voice. Ministers, Zhao Chei is a criminal and cannot be ruler. By the late emperor's wish, his child in my womb shall inherit. Let the imperial uncle serve as regent. I shall rule and trust until the child comes of age. Murmurs spread. The late emperor has not fathered a child in years, can this posthumous son be trusted? Neither can be proven, no emperor is autopsied, it would be a disgrace. A few looked at Zhao Mingqing for confirmation. He glanced at me in the corner, I signaled him to wait. Zhao Chei had had enough. Enough! 2 columns of Imperial guards swept in from the corridors, surrounding the hall, then entered. Blades rang out in unison. Jiedong paled, clinging to the coffin. You wouldn't dare. I carry a child. Zhao Chei sneered. You think so? The officials fell to their knees, trembling. Only Zhao Mingqing, I, and a few others remained standing. Zhao Chei raised his sword. Then a guard stumbled in. Your Highness. Duke Xing has entered the palace. Zhao Chei froze. What do you mean, entered? Before he could answer, heavy footsteps, louder and louder. A moment later, the sound of soldiers filled the city. Jiedong perked up. It's Yang Xiao. He's brought troops. She laughed. Zhao Chei. When Duke Xing gets here, you're dead. I carry the late emperor's only child. Duke Xing was the one I had been waiting for. I wondered what she was celebrating. I was lost in thought when a hand grabbed my wrist. Zhao Chei had his sword to my throat. Duke Xing, at 70, entered the hall, unruffled, and offered incense to the late emperor. Zhao Chei held me close. Duke Xing, leading troops into the palace, is this rebellion? Shall I start with your adopted daughter? The Duke turned, met my eyes, and spoke. Your Highness, I have no children, what rebellion could I raise? But this lady, you cannot kill her. She is the lost princess of Consort Chui. Jiedong looked confused. Zhao Chei gripped his sword harder. Impossible. Duke Xing looked at Zhao Mingqing. The imperial uncle was there. I had met Duke Xing the night before, shown him Yang Hang's bangle, and told him everything. I could have carried her out of the residence, but her 7-month pregnancy had already been harmed. She said she had misjudged him, that she had wronged her father, she would rather die to save that child. Duke Xing sat in his tent, holding the bangle, weeping. She was always a good daughter. He wiped his tears. And the child? I lifted my teacup. A boy. Named Ming Zhao, young Ming Zhao. I've sent him somewhere safe, no one can find him, no one can harm him. I dismissed the attendants. Your ambition, I know. But you are past 70, how many years could you rule? I came not because you summoned me, I came to make you an offer. I took a sip of tea. An adopted daughter is not as good as a real daughter, but since she's dead, an adopted daughter can be close. Consider backing me, father. My parents are dead, I honor you as Imperial father, and when you pass, I'll posthumously make you emperor. Your dream fulfilled. Duke Shen was silent. And if I refuse? I sighed. Then Yang Hang's son is of no use to me. You'll have to find an heir. A throne is not like a family business, father kills son kills father, brothers slaughter each other, husbands and wives turn against each other. Is an adopted heir better than a daughter's son? As I stepped out, blades barred my way. Father, so soon? I called. You've changed your mind? The joy of a grandson, what a blessing. That child, A Heng gave her life to save him. Duke Shin crushed a teacup, sweeping the shards to the floor. Let her go. Following Duke Shin's words, all eyes turned to the Imperial uncle. He sighed. The princess's fate was unknown. Recalling 15 years past, his gaze grew distant. I saw it, the sandalwood bowl drifting, slowly sinking. Just before it went under, a wave capsized it, the bundle fell into the water. We were about to leave, but I thought I saw the infant reach up as if gasping, as if revived. But I couldn't be sure. Consort Shui said she heard a cry, she followed the river for 10 li. Duke Xing continued. The emperor searched downstream for 3 months, no body was ever found. Zhao Che was stunned. She lived? My mother said she drowned. And even if she lived, it couldn't be Ming Wenqiu. I was spellbound. Zhao Mingqing returned to the present. It seems Consort Shui recognized Wenqiu, which is why she gave her the jade lock. Zhao Che's sword trembled at my throat. You, all of you. I stepped back and whispered, Your Highness, you and Jidong conspired to kill the emperor, but she's turned on you. You are lost. If you kill me, you die, she wins. Duke Xing's 30,000 are outside. If you join me now. I met his eyes. At least, I'll spare your life. Jidong stepped before the Duke and the Imperial uncle, looking at us with triumph. Zhao Che! You poisoned the emperor and tried to kill me, you should be executed at once. Even if you hold my sister hostage, I will show no mercy. Zhao Che seethed. He pushed me forward, and dropped his sword. I never murdered my father, I consent to investigation, but not by you. He pointed at Jiedong. You have no status. Who knows whose child you carry? He turned to the assembly with a cold laugh. She's married, it could be Li Xuanga's. Jiedong's eyes widened. She lunged, grabbing his collar. You monster. Why won't you just die? She shoved him. He straightened his collar, sneering. Zhao Che and Ming Jiedong were now sworn enemies. One accused of killing the emperor, the other with uncertain bloodline, neither could ascend. That left only me. The Imperial uncle and Duke Xing raised me to the throne without bloodshed. I ordered the former crown prince confined, he would not be executed until the truth was found. Ming Jiedong was to stay in the palace until she gave birth. The late emperor was sent to the tombs. When all had gone, I sat on the dragon throne, staring at the jade lock in my palm. Li Mu broke my reverie. Master, another letter from the general. You've kept delaying him, and now he's heard you've taken the throne. Li Xuanga had sent a letter of severance. I hear you have ascended through treachery, playing all sides, deceiving me like a dog. You must have forgotten me long ago. When we meet again, it will be with swords. I will never trust you again. I read it twice, then wrote back. Husband. Li Mu coughed at those words. I shot him a look. He stepped back. I continued. Husband, do not believe the rumors and bring this disaster upon yourself. Since we parted, I have thought of you day and night. I cannot eat, cannot sleep, I grow thin. Chui Song wronged me, I had no choice. Now I have cleared the way for you in the capital. Return soon. I cut a lock of my hair, wrapped it in red thread, and added it to the envelope. Li Mu took it. Will that work? We'll see. 3 days later, Li Xuanga's reply. The envelope held no letter, just a lock of hair, tied in a double knot, falling into my palm. 2 hearts bound. Li Mu, it worked. Of the 4 men my father had foreseen, Chui Song was dead, the crown prince was confined, the imperial uncle followed me, only Li Xuanga remained. All had the fate of emperors. I stood on the city wall, surveying the capital. I remembered the night my father had gathered us 3 daughters. For a seer to alter fate, the bond must be close. Marry these 3, use your arts to guide them, pull the strings, change the board, shape the world. My second sister frowned. Father, that leaves 1 man. Then, we gamble. He had predicted, 4 men, 3 married to us, 1 remained. That night, after my sisters left, he kept me behind. Wing Q, Wang Chun is gentle and passive. Wen Xia is stubborn and brittle. Only you. He stood under the moon, sleeves full of wind. That gamble is yours. Your fate is 7 killings and the star of death. Stay close to someone long enough, and you will quietly take their destiny. 7 killings. Star of death. The art of taking. The wind rose, and the banners stirred. Li Xuanga's army was approaching the capital. Li Mu had already moved some people according to my orders. The formal coronation was being prepared. The emperor's dragon robe and the empress's phoenix dress were being stitched day and night. To appease Li Xuanga, I told him I would ascend immediately on returning to the palace. I even showed him the embroidery patterns, though he probably hadn't looked carefully. My 4th sister, Ming Jidong, remained restless. Her attendants brought me copies of letters she had intercepted between Li Xuanga and me, and she had tried to reach him directly. I set the letters aside, tapping the table. You've served her long, tell me, whose child does Ming Jidong carry? They told me all she had done since entering the palace, whom she had seen, whom she had met. The late emperor treated her warmly, but like a father, not with desire. There were rumors, though. I frowned. I knew it wasn't the late emperor's. That night, Jidong miscarried. I sent the physicians. She cursed me for killing her child. I had intended to, but I hadn't acted yet. She ranted, drove the attendants away. One night, unable to sleep, I wandered to Chongning Hall. A faint candle flickered. I pushed open the door. Jidong stood before a bronze mirror, dressed in the empress's robes, too large, sleeves covering her hands, train pulled around her. You aborted your own child, for your delusions? She whirled. The phoenix hairpin chimed. Sister, have you forgotten? I am Li Xuanga's lawful wife, I am the future empress. She stared out the window, lost in fantasy. At least I helped him then, he owes me a place. The one who had opened my windows every night was her. If Zhao Che had known, she wouldn't have turned on him. Go back to bed. Don't be foolish. She glared at me with hatred. Ming Wing Q, I hate your calm. That day in prison, you said I'd be fine, and then the Emperor nearly killed me. I looked at her calmly. If I had said he would kill you, he wouldn't have, but then our art would have been proven false and all 4 of us would have died. I was innocent. If you speak that way, I saved you. Your family owes me a life. I met her gaze without flinching. Jiedong, 10 years I've known you. I never wronged you. Did we come to this over one word in prison? She stared at me, then walked closer, her gaze chilling. Wang, when, jia, spring, summer, autumn, winter, my name doesn't fit. You all have the gift, but not me. When disaster came, I was the first struck. She spoke each word, how can I not hate you? Now she stood before me. I looked down at her coldly. Jiedong, you blame me for saving you? Should I have left you begging in the mud, instead of raising you to stand here and resent me? She stared into my eyes. I blame that I don't have your parents, your gift, your love. But I don't blame myself, I've done enough. She laughed lowly, tears in her eyes, half mad. You lied to me too, third sister. I'm glad I didn't listen, choosing Chui Song, but Li Xuanga. I've given him the palace tunnel maps. When he comes, he'll make me empress. I looked out, above the high wall, torches flickered, dots of fire. Li Xuanga was coming. We locked eyes. I smiled bitterly. You don't know what you missed. She laughed softly. My eyes dropped to her right sleeve. If you let go of what's in your hand, I'll spare your life. She stared as if she'd seen a ghost, pale, trembling. You know before it happens, then that means She wouldn't believe it. Her face contorted, she raised the dagger. I stepped back, and a feathered arrow burst through the window, piercing her chest. Her arm froze mid-strike. I pulled the gold phoenix hairpin from her head and drove it into her throat, hot blood sprayed my face. I did not let go. She fell into my arms, her chin on my shoulder, her voice faint at my ear. Sister. What did I miss? I held her close. Your mother, she loved you all her life. In the dim light, she turned her head, eyes wide, tears flowing. Who is she? I closed my eyes, tears falling. I did not answer. She slid to the floor, staring at me, mouthing a question. Who? I closed her eyes. Sister, not telling you, is for your own good. Li Xuanga dismounted and rushed to me. Are you all right? I was dazed. Then I looked up, held him tight. I was so scared. You're back, finally. He held me, stroking my hair. My fault, I shouldn't have left you. I sobbed quietly, then looked up. How many men did you bring? He wiped my tears. 5,000. The rest are outside the capital. With me here, no one will hurt you. I forced a smile. He said softly, Wing Q, you've suffered. Don't force a smile. His lieutenant asked for orders. Now that we're inside, change the palace guard, all our own men. I stopped him. No. He looked at me. The palace guard is already with Li Mu. You'd be fighting yourselves. I summoned Li Mu. He came with his men, recognized Li Shuanga, and saluted. Thankfully, Li Shuanga remembered him. The transition went smoothly. I led Li Shuanga to my chambers. He glanced at me. I'm going to your place? I nodded. There's a hot spring behind my hall. In a corner chamber, white gauze fluttered in the steam. Li Shuanga bathed, arms resting on the edge, eyes closed. I stood behind a screen, watching his back. Li Mu crept back. Master, I have 3 plans. Best, poison the spring, dissolve him away. Middle, blow this incense in, then kill him. Worst, take this towel and strangle him from behind. I turned. Leave the towel. Go. He understood and handed it to me. Use a deft motion. He mimed choking. I set the tray by the pool and placed my hand on his arm. Li Shuanga opened his eyes, catching my wrist. He didn't turn. I'm not that kind of man, he said quietly. We can wait until after we're married. I fell to stirring. Old question, hard answer, realm or beauty, you can only have one. What would you choose? He glanced at me. Realm and you? He shrugged. I choose you. I smiled faintly. What? Wrong answer. I took his other hand. Wrong. If it were me, I'd take both. He laughed softly, then realized I was too close. His throat moved. Let me finish, then you go out. I leaned in, looking into his eyes, my hand slipping into the water. Then let me be forward. Li Shuanga stayed in my chambers for 3 days and nights. He saw no one. His lieutenants came a dozen times, I quietly turned them all away. In the dim hall, he drew back the bed curtains, walked to the candle, and snuffed it. Darkness. He opened the window, and raised a hand to shield his eyes from the sudden daylight. You're awake. I rose and opened the doors. Attendants came in, opened the windows, and took away the candle stands. He watched them, expressionless. You used this on me? Harmless. I took a scroll from behind the bookshelf and handed it to him. Realm and beauty, you chose beauty. If beauty chooses the realm, what then? He opened it. An edict of investiture? A surrender? He tossed it back. Not surrender, a promise. You said if you became emperor, you'd make me empress. I can be emperor, so I'm making you empress. He said, I never lied, but you did. Even if you hold these 5,000 men, even if you ambush this army, my father will send more. It's useless. I stepped outside, looking at the autumn landscape, head high. Then fight him, contend with him. I spread my arms. Li Shuanga, things are different now. I am a Zhao, I hold this realm, backed by the clan and Duxing. I am the legitimate sovereign. Your father is a rebel. Do you expect me to yield? I let out a breath. It could be 3 months, or 70 years. I looked back, offering the decree again. Wouldn't you rather be empress for 3 months? He looked away. If I accept, what about my father? Make him the emperor's father-in-law. He stood still, his gaze dark. When I almost withdrew it, he snatched the scroll, gripping it hard, knuckles white. He closed his eyes. Ming Wing Q, you treat me like a dog. He left, studying the scroll as he walked, and even bumped into Li Mu. Li Mu came to me. Master, you said nothing about holding his family? I shook my head. Didn't need it. Don't tell him. He looked at me with surprise. Let's hope his mother doesn't either. I was quiet a moment. It doesn't matter. He sighed. You prepared so much, and he was the easiest to handle. I walked back. Change the title. He paused, stepped back, and knelt. Long live your majesty. A month later, I ascended the throne. I made Li Xuanga Empress, honored Duke Xing as Emperor Emeritus, made Ming Wangchen Grand Princess, Ming Wenxia Princess, and posthumously honored Yang Heng as Princess Shenwan. I honored Li Zan as the Empress's father. He fell ill from rage, writing dozens of bitter letters to Li Xuanga. Li Xuanga wrote back, "She is heaven's choice. It is my fortune that she favors me, and your grandson may yet inherit. Do not blame me." I sent Li Mu north to share Li Zan's burden. The imperial uncle Zhao Mingqing returned to Yanling and divorced Ming Wangchen. I have been too embroiled in court, chaotic and treacherous, not a match for you. She accepted it calmly. Her marriage had been part of my father's plan, a choice based on virtue. She stayed in Yanling to meditate. My second sister recovered and returned to the palace. I took her to see the crown prince. Zhao Che sat inside, staring blankly at the window gap. When a sparrow passed, his eyes flickered, and he laughed faintly. Wen Xiao watched coldly. Your Highness, cruel, selfish, fallen, how satisfying. At her voice, he turned rigidly, looked at her, indifferent. Useless thing, you were barely any help. Her eyes burned. She turned to me. No food, only a bowl of chaff each day. Let him go hungry every day of his life. I did as she said. I had only promised to spare his life. Wen Xiao looked at him with calm contempt. Your Highness, the famine you escaped back then, you'll make up for it in the years to come. He turned away silently. I placed the phoenix hairpin on the table. The late Empress's relic returned. Zhao Che stared, then seized it, clutching it tight. Is she alive? I looked at him steadily. Dead. You, he stared, lips white, trembling. The child is gone. She aborted it, thinking Li Xuanga would make her empress. He lowered his head, wiping his face with his sleeves, tears falling. She was a fool. I said, you may not know, I found Jiedong at the foot of Baiyun Temple. She was always sensitive to cold, pale-skinned. I later learned her heart lay at her throat, above the normal place. I killed her with this pin. I paused, meeting his gaze. The temple is near the riverbank. Perhaps the baby your mother drowned was revived when the river water flooded her throat, waking her from her death-like state. Do you believe that? His eyes widened, nearly cracking. You're lying. It's a lie. Was I? The late emperor never touched her, yet he arranged for her to meet consort Chui. But Jiedong was willful, clashed with the consort, and it was hushed up. He grew frantic. Liar! The baby was dead. He broke down, sobbing on the table. After a long time, he looked up, dull and listless. Did you ever tell her this? I looked down at him. No. I spared her that. But I tell you, because you deserve it. He crumpled to the floor, clutching the hairpin, burying his face in the ground, howling. I left with Wen Xia. On the way back, I asked her, why did you choose the crown prince? I looked at her. Li Xuanga may not have been shorter lived. She turned to me. As bad a sister as I may be, I would never choose the man you loved. 5 years later, Duke Xingyang Xiao fell gravely ill. I personally took young Ming Zhao back to the southwest, ensuring his succession. On his deathbed, Yang Xiao reached out to touch Ming Zhao's face. "You look like your mother," she never flinched at my rough hands. Ming Zhao wept. "Grandfather." He smiled through tears, his voice faltering. "But don't be like her, she never spoke of her pain. If I had known, I would have given up this realm for her." I took his hand. "Father, I will protect Ming Zhao." He shook his head, sighing. "I do not blame you, I rarely saw him, but I understand. I met your father, he was accurate. A Hun became a princess, but I could not be emperor." He passed on. 5-year-old young Ming Zhao became Duke Xing. I left a group of trusted men to guard him. Back at the palace, Zhao Mingqing waited. "Your Majesty, I wish to discuss the succession." I waved him off. "Imperial uncle, I'm not yet 25. He followed. "You promised. You've delayed 5 years. Eventually, he was stopped at the gate. But he came daily, insisting I keep my prison promise. "Uncle, I gave you a blank decree." He knelt, expressionless. "You changed the seal to Phoenix design, the one I hold is invalid." I laughed, I remembered. "Well, that can't be helped. I'm a woman, Phoenix is proper." He insisted, "You promised only one lifetime and to choose a Zhao heir. You won't go back on your word?" I helped him up. "Don't worry, uncle, I haven't forgotten." I needed to plan a crafty way out. At dinner with my empress, I fretted over the succession, he kept touching my hand. "Empress, such gestures are improper." He looked at me, set down his chopsticks, and stopped eating. I dismissed the attendants. "What now?" He showed me his father's latest letter, with a copy of his earlier letter. The new paper had only 4 words. "Son, where's my grandson?" Li Xuanga slammed it down. "Now I'm the grandson." I laughed and took his hand. He looked at me. "It's been 5 years. Have you decided? If you don't want mine, find another." I squeezed his hand. "Nonsense, we're wedded. It's your father who won't settle. Li Mu has been north 5 years, and I still have to watch him. How can I risk having your child?" He leaned closer, touching my face. "Your Majesty, if you don't like martial men, you shouldn't have made me empress." I looked back at him and smiled. "Who says I don't like martial men? I like them best." My harem had only him. I had favored Li Xuanga for 5 years, giving the Li family all due honor. But until Li Zan yielded, no child. After I gave my empress advice, Li Mu made progress, Li Zan prepared to transfer power. I sent physicians to treat Li Xuanga. The whole palace knew. Zhao Mingqing knelt at my door before dawn. "Your Majesty, if you bear a child, will you make it crown prince?" I opened the door, holding a lamp. "Uncle, it's not even light yet." He clung to my legs, arguing endlessly against my bearing Li's child. He wanted a clan heir. He pleaded, "Your Majesty, you are no ordinary woman, childbearing would harm the realm." I covered my face as if weeping. "Uncle, last night I dreamed of my mother. She said she wanted a grandchild, or she'd never rest in peace." He was speechless. I proposed a solution, let him select several clan youths and bring them to the palace. "Uncle, that way the child is both mine and Zhao's." He brightened, calling me a born ruler. Half a month later, the prince's mansion sent 2 beauties to the palace. Li Xuanga raged in Chongning Palace. For the first time, I did not visit him. Others followed suit, the gifts poured in. Even my second sister sent 2 young men. "What are you doing?" I asked. She shrugged. "You'd never trust theirs. These 2 are from good families, about 18, 10 years younger than Li Xuanga." I looked back at my memorials. "Don't let the Empress hear that, he'll make your life miserable." The harem swelled with a dozen young men. One notable gift was Li Zan's, a distant cousin of Li Xuanga, with 5/10 his features and 8 years younger. I returned only him. I visited only a few, the Empress, the Prince's gifts, Duke Xing's gifts, and my sister's gifts. Half a year later, I was pregnant. Zhao Mingqing had the Imperial physicians check the bed records, turning pages all afternoon. Hard to say who the father is. He snapped the book shut and looked at me. That was the benefit of a female emperor. "Uncle, I was impartial. Let fate decide." I touched my belly and smiled. He could only go home and pray to the Bodhisattva of children that it be a Zhao child. Li Xuanga placed his hand on my belly. "I'll write my father, say it's mine." I held him. "After I give birth, you can dismiss all of them." In the 6th winter, I gave birth to a daughter, Ming Jin, and named her Crown Princess. She was raised by the Empress, taught by Li Xuanga, skilled in arts and arms, pure-hearted. He had such gratitude for raising her, even if not by blood, he was as a father. Li Zan finally lowered his guard. In the 10th year, Ming Jin turned 4. Li Zan transferred military command to Li Mu and returned from the north for her birthday. At the feast, Ming Jin climbed onto his lap and called him grandfather as Li Xuanga had taught. He looked her over, couldn't tell if she was Li. Outside, light snow fell. He placed her back with the nurse and looked up, our eyes met. I stood on the white jade steps in a black phoenix cloak, attendants holding an umbrella, smiling at him. I sat on the throne. Li Zan stood below. 15 years, and at last I meet you, General Li. He stiffened, looking back, sensing the hidden blades. He closed his eyes. "So your Majesty still holds a grudge." For 10 years, I thought it was my paranoia, but now I see. I gripped the armrest. "Li Zan, do you know why I waited so long? The Ming family are seers. The world sought to buy our prophecies. If I or my father had wanted your life, it would have been easy." His voice echoed. "So your Majesty waited, to sit where I wanted, to tell me the Li family would never rule?" I kept my head low, eyes sharp. "Li Zan, your vision is narrow. I waited 15 years for you to yield your command, so I could kill you without breaking the realm or plunging the north into war." I stood and raised my voice. "Your petty mind can't grasp my father's purpose. You were the one, sending your half-brother to entrap my mother, forcing her to seek information from my father, driving her to end her own life. That fire in the eastern alley, the man who had abandoned my mother, was Li Zan's half-brother. After my mother's death, my father discovered it. I tracked that man to the Li ancestral home and heard him with Li Zan. Li Zan, from the fire, learned of my father's power, but my father would not divine. He used his half-brother, who had once loved my mother, to manipulate her for knowledge. Especially, whether the Li family could rule. My father killed the brother easily. But Li Zan commanded 200,000 northern troops. Killing him would break the North's peace. Only one person, the supreme ruler, could take his command and kill him justly. My father cast that prophecy of 4. And set the world in motion for 15 years. Li Zan admitted to driving my mother to death, but refused to end himself. Your Majesty, I dare not claim kinship, but if you kill me now, will your husband not turn on you? I stepped down, one pace at a time. General, if not for you, I would never have met your son over a parrot. My nature is harsh and dominating. Those close to me, I steal their fortune. 2 have already proven it. I took a dagger from the golden tray. Your question, my father left the answer. Your son Li Xuanga is virtuous, a star of destiny, a son of heaven. Li Zan was forced to his knees. Then he was wrong. I crouched before him. No, I stole his fate. And look how well I rule. I released the blade. He fell forward, blood spreading beneath him. I stepped over the blood, footprints leading from darkness into light. Outside, snow fell heavily. I stared at the white city, lost. Li Xuanga and Ming Jin played in the snow. She ran to me, snow in her hands. Then she saw the blood on my feet. What's that? Li Xuanga covered her eyes. Don't look, Ming Jin. She peered past his hands, asking over and over, what is it? I smiled. Ming Jin, there are 2 kinds of shui in this world, the snow in your hands, and the blood at my feet. Both can make the world clean. He looked at me and smiled. He took her. Your Majesty, where is my father? I stiffened. He saw the blood, and tried to rush past me. I caught his wrist. Li Xuanga, don't look. The 20th year of my reign, Ming Jin was 14. It was a long spring. Zhao Mingqing fell ill. At first a chill, he still came to court. I had a chair brought for him. When it worsened, I had him stay in the palace. The physicians couldn't cure him. I scolded them, he stopped me. He lay pale, holding my hand. Don't be angry, I'm old. I'll be 50 next year, not all live as long as young Xiao. I held his hand tightly. Uncle, don't talk like that, you wanted to see the throne return to Zhao. He smiled weakly. Your Majesty, you have changed. You are a seer, you know best whether I'll die. I was speechless. He looked at the bed canopy, as if remembering. 20 years ago, in that prison, I thought you were dreaming. Now, I cannot tell if that meeting was a dream or this piece. He let go and closed his eyes. I held his hand, then bent over him, weeping. Zhao Mingqing, through 3 reigns, had given his all. He lay in state for 3 days, all in grief. 20 years later, I entered the Eastern Palace to see its prisoner. Weeds grew, windows gaped, spider webs hung. An old servant led me to the room, threw in a bowl to test, and a thin hand clawed the window. Zhao Che emerged, gaunt, hair wild, clutching the gold hairpin, barely recognizable. Eat, he muttered. He survived on 1 bowl of chaff, and clung to that hairpin with a violent devotion. It was his mother's, I said. I stepped closer and called to him. I came to tell you, your uncle is dead. He stared blankly. Uncle. He loved you. I spared you for him. Now, go. Tell him you're sorry. I waved. Men with white silk entered, he fought, but they subdued him. The former Crown Prince Zhao Che, distraught at the Imperial uncle's death, hanged himself in the Eastern Palace. At dusk, servants lit lamps along the steps. They knelt as I passed. I went to Changning Palace. The doors were closed, he was ill, they said, and would not see me. I stood outside, leaning on the door, speaking softly. Li Xuanga, the prince is gone. He said he was old. I am 39, I have no more decades to waste with you. I looked up at the dim moon. I killed your father, because he killed my mother. I am clear in my rewards and punishments. I never blamed you. If you cannot bear it here, I will let you go. The door swung open, I fell back into his arms. He caught me, his gaze cold and bitter. Ming Wing Q, what more do you want from me? First the token, then the throne, the Northern Army, my father's life, what next? Tell me. His eyes filled with tears, his body trembling. He bit his lip, held me tight, and pressed his face to my neck. His voice was a whisper. What else can I give you? My heart ached. I held him. Stay with me, through this life. The 30th year, I reached my end. I grew tired, falling asleep unwittingly, but I did not want to sleep. I had been teaching Ming Jin statecraft, then I awoke to Li Xuanga tending me. I rested my face in his hand. Li Xuanga, I want a pastry. In a carriage. Eating a pastry. His fingers trembled. You can't, take your medicine, you'll get better. I looked up and smiled. I won't. My second sister came, she didn't dare lie. I'm dying, Li Xuanga. He nodded. Yes, you are. He laughed, crying. I wiped his tears. Ming Jin is 24. Will she be a good ruler? He held my hand to his cheek. You calculated every step, even your final days? He understood, my hand was so tired. I withdrew it and lay back. Li Xuanga, Ming Jin will be emperor. You're only 52. I once meant to make you join me in death, but now I don't. I knocked on the bed frame. In the secret compartment, there's a decree. Burn it. He found it, read it carefully. Your Majesty, your investiture edict was crude, but this death decree is exquisitely crafted. I turned away, tears sliding. The investiture didn't need care, you took it. But this, if it weren't well written, you'd blame me for cruelty. He closed the scroll. You've written worse, that groveling letter of love. He closed his eyes and recited it, every word. Husband, do not believe the rumors. Since we parted, I have thought of you day and night. He looked at me. Not a word true. I stared, then laughed, coughing, weak. But one word was true. Return soon. I held his hand and tried to close my eyes. He set aside the spoon and raised the medicine bowl. No, I won't drink it. He looked at the liquid. It's for me. I stared. He drained it and lay beside me. Wing Q, don't be afraid. He wiped my tears. I won't leave you twice. The poison worked fast. He curled beside me, convulsing. I cupped his face. He whispered through black blood. Since we parted, day and night, I thought of you, couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, I was thin. He leaned close, trying to kiss me. I met him. I was true. He was true. I wept, beyond control. Empress Li Xuanga took poison and died with his sovereign. In my final moments, sight gone, voice gone, I heard a cacophony. Ming Jin, young Ming Zhao, my sisters, Li Mu, the voices faded. And I could see again. Young Li Xuanga leaped over a wall, holding a red parrot. Is this yours? Yes. He handed it over and pointed to the building. I've seen you for days, my father's in meetings, if you're caught, you'll be dead. What's your father's name? Liaison. Good. I turned to leave, he caught my sleeve. What's your father's name? He asked. I looked at him coldly. Why ask? He stood, pressing his lips together. I want to propose. I stared at him. My mother just died. The story is now complete. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe and support me.